Zeus had more affairs than any other figure in Greek mythology. Dozens of them. Goddesses, mortal women, nymphs. The list is long enough that it's become the one thing most people know about him. But almost none of those stories were ever about romance. They were about power. Real political power, wielded by real cities for centuries.
Ask most people what Zeus is known for, and you'll get some version of the same answer. He's the king of the gods, and he can't keep his hands to himself. Modern retellings lean into this. Zeus, the serial seducer, punished by an eternally jealous Hera. It's an easy read, and it's not entirely wrong. But it misses almost everything about why these stories existed in the first place, and who was actually telling them.
Myths as political claims. In the ancient Greek world, there was no single holy book, no central authority deciding which myths counted. Myths were living political tools, shaped and reshaped by the cities and ruling families who told them. And one of the most powerful things a city, a dynasty, or a king could claim was descent from a god. If your city's founder was said to be a son of Zeus, that wasn't just a nice story, it was a claim to legitimacy. It said, our right to rule, our right to this land, comes from the top of Olympus itself.
The mechanics of divine ancestry. This is where Zeus's affairs come in. Nearly every major Greek royal line, from Sparta to Crete to Thebes, traced its bloodline back to a union between Zeus and a mortal woman or a lesser goddess. Minos of Crete, son of Zeus and Europa. Perseus, ancestor of the Spartan kings, son of Zeus and Danae. Heracles, claimed by half of Greece as an ancestor, son of Zeus and Alcmene. These weren't random romantic subplots. Each affair was, functionally, a founding charter. A city that could point to a myth like this had a divine trademark on its right to exist and rule.
Why so many? And why so widespread? And this explains the sheer number of these stories. Greece wasn't one unified nation. It was a patchwork of independent city-states, constantly competing for status, land, and influence. Nearly every one of them wanted its own version of this claim, so nearly every one of them developed or adapted a local myth linking its ruling family to Zeus. The result is a mythology where Zeus appears to have fathered half of Greece, not because ancient audiences saw him as a symbol of infidelity, but because dozens of competing political powers each needed their own version of the same legitimizing story.
Take Crete, the myth of Zeus and Europa. Zeus disguising himself as a white bull to carry Europa across the sea is one of the most famous of these stories. But look at what it produces. Minos, a king whose name becomes shorthand for law and judgment in the Greek world, said to have been raised advising the gods themselves. Crete used this myth for centuries as evidence of its unique closeness to divine authority. Its laws, its palaces, even its claim to naval dominance in the Aegean, all traced rhetorically back to this one union. This wasn't background lore. It was actively cited, referenced, and used, the way a modern nation might invoke its founding constitution.
So the next time Zeus's endless list of affairs comes up, it's worth remembering what these stories were actually doing. They weren't really about Zeus at all. They were about mortal kings, mortal cities, and mortal ambition dressed up in divine language, because that was the most powerful currency available in the ancient world. Zeus wasn't a symbol of romance gone wild. He was a stamp of legitimacy that half of Greece was racing to claim for itself.
If you want the deep dive into any one of these bloodlines, Minos, Heracles, or the Spartan kings, let me know in the comments and I'll build the next video around it. And if this kind of myth meets history breakdown is what you're here for, subscribe. There's a lot more of Greek mythology that isn't what it first appears to be.